Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Couples Academy show. My name is Hassani, and I'm with you for another great day. Hope you had an amazing weekend. I know that we have. What a busy weekend it was. We had a private marriage intensive. Awesome couple came over from Spokane, Washington State to spend the weekend with us as we helped to navigate them through their relationship, and then had some quality time with the family. It's always good to spend time with the family. So we went to a great restaurant, had great conversation, and connected and bonded. How was your weekend? What did you do? Did you have a good time? Did you find the time to connect with your family? Even though we're in this pandemic, listen, it is a new norm. Stop waiting for life to get back to normal and accept the fact that we're in a new norm, and you have to adjust and you have to pivot and you have to be highly adaptable in order to make it work. Well, we're excited because we have a great conversation today. We're talking about love is not enough for a healthy relationship. So listen, grab your paper, grab your pen, take great notes, and let's get ready for a great conversation. Be right back. All right, we're back, guys. We're back. We're talking about how love is not enough for a healthy conversation, and we're going to get right into it. But let's just acknowledge some of the people who are on this morning. Good morning, Stephen. Good morning, Lene, Clarice, Jaguar, Vashan, Phaedra, Kiana, and my African brothers and sisters, Babalawa. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, but it's all love. Listen, we're excited today. We're going to jump right into this topic. We want to talk about how love is important. We know love is important. You need to have love. It is a foundational pillar to a successful relationship. But dare I say, love is not enough. It requires other skills. And if you don't have the skill sets necessary to navigate through this relationship, you're going to have challenges. Even the Bible says that wisdom is the principal thing. So get wisdom, and in all thy getting, get an understanding. So what are the skill sets? What is it that you need to make a relationship work? Well, we're going to go through this list. Number one, you have to have an ability to communicate your emotions verbally and directly. Now, that sounds pretty basic, but the reality is a lot of us don't do a good job effectively communicating how we feel. And a lot of times frustration and rage and sadness and all types of unhealthy, unproductive emotions come out in situations. And so the reality is we're fighting about this situation. Man, you spilled coffee all over the table. How could you be so stupid? And really, it's not about the coffee. It's about something else that wasn't properly addressed and resolved. And so as a result, the argument comes out in the coffee when it really should have come out in another instance. And so you have to do a good job of clearly communicating your emotions, identifying what your emotions are. There's so many people who have these emotions, but they don't even acknowledge what it is that they're feeling. Like, you seem to be frustrated right now. What's wrong? No, nothing's wrong. I'm not frustrated. What do you mean you're not frustrated? You're sweating. You're all swollen up in the chest. You're walking around mad. You're breathing hard through your nose. There's nothing wrong with me. And so a lot of times we are so oblivious to how we're showing up. But we say this all the time. Listen, your spouse is your mirror. Okay, those who have close proximity to your world, they are your mirror, and they can see what sometimes you can't see. And if they're identifying an emotion or a feeling that they're observing, take heed, because there may be some validity to that. And so when you can clearly and verbally articulate how you feel in that moment, it opens up a door for conversation to address what the real issue is, and then to discuss how to properly manage that emotion. All right. So once again, communication, we're talking about the power of communication to make a relationship work. Number two, you have the ability to manage a full range of emotions without acting destructively. You know, there are going to be times and situations in your life where you're not happy, with how things are happening. You're in a situation, and you have to do a good job of maintaining yourself, of knowing how to get through a situation. Once again, you have to be highly adaptable, and you have to adjust to uncomfortable situations sometimes. And when you properly manage this full range of emotions, it helps you, right? And so as you begin to manage yourself, you begin to manage your life and your world. There are times when, like, oh my God, I remember I was in church many, many, many years ago. And here I am, I'm serving the pastor. I'm up on stage in front of all of these people. And something happens in the audience that a few of us recognize. And literally, I wanted to bust out in tears, in laughter. But I knew, because I was front and center on stage, that if I reacted in that moment, it would totally distract everyone from the teaching going on at the time. It would be an embarrassment to the pastor. I would have to be explaining things from it. So I had to do a good job of holding it in. It was the hardest thing for me to do in my life, but I had to properly to manage that emotion, because that emotion, see, a good emotion in the wrong time and in the wrong place can produce something wrong. So even if it's a healthy emotion, sometimes you have to know when and where, right? It's all about understanding timing. And these are the things that are very, very, very important. Listen, before we go any further, we just want to connect with our viewers. I spent the weekend with my daughter and grandson, spent time shopping and eating at the mall. That's right. That's what you have to do during this pandemic. You have to get out there and enjoy yourself. After several months, years of feeling broken and frustrated in my marriage, I finally approached my husband and told him that we have to start marriage counseling. Well, Jaguar, good for you, because why continue to suffer in silence if you don't have to? You know what? This is kind of how I look at it. Like, I'm not a pill popper. That's just not what I typically do. And I can remember, having a headache, and I'm just like, oh man, how can I get through this headache? And I'm trying to figure out everything I can do. Let me take a hot shower. Maybe the steam will help. Let me lay down for a little bit. Let me eat something. Let me go for a walk. I'm trying to figure out all these things to do, because the last thing I wanted to do was just take some Excedrin, some extra strength Excedrin. And so here we are, 2/4 or 2/3 of the day, and it's about 6, 7 o'clock. And I'm like, finally, you know what? Let me just do this. I just can't take it anymore. Took it, went away in 20 minutes. And I'm like, why didn't I do that earlier in the day when I was feeling this pain? And a lot of times we have a tendency of waiting. And in that process, we're going through so much misery, so much torture, and we can, in essence, stop the bleeding if we just make the decision to get the help that we need to turn things around. And so I encourage all of you who are in this same boat, in this same situation, if you're frustrated, if you just can't take it anymore, you don't know what else to do, find somebody that can help you. And that's why we're here at couplesacademy.org to be able to assist you in anything that you're going through. So please, if that's you, reach out to us. Here you go. Here's the number, 678-200-8996. We get calls all the time. Many of you are watching. Many of you are enjoying the show. But guess what? As great as this show may be for you, it is not enough. You need something more. So tune in, dial that number, set up a discovery call, and let's talk. All right. Another comment. If love is not enough, then how does one navigate the challenges of being involved in a narcissistic marriage? My husband doesn't reciprocate love or any other normal components of a relationship. We were talking about narcissism all last week. I think we did like a 3-part series on it. So if you're tuning in for the first time, we definitely want you to go back, and it talks about, how do you deal with a narcissist? Can a narcissist change? How to navigate through a relationship. One thing we know for sure that even with a narcissist, there is the ability to become a healthier version of oneself and be able to properly manage communication and affection and all these different things. And so tune in or go back and watch those videos. But listen, it all comes down to having conversation and having heartfelt conversation in a healthy environment where both of you are open to one another. And it speaks to some of the things that we're going to talk about. So let's go to number three. We're talking about the emotional and life skills needed for a healthy relationship. So number 3, the ability to emotionally present for a loved one, even when you're unable to do anything to fix his or her pain. Now, this is so important because at the end of the day, You are partnered with your spouse for life. They are a life partner. And oftentimes you're in different places and different spaces at different seasons in your marriage. It would be great if both of you are happy at the same time. It would be great if both of you are up at the same time. But we are still individuals, and we have our own individual struggles and situations and complexities in life. And so when your spouse is going through something, listen, even when you don't have the ability of fixing their problem, being able to emotionally be available for them sometimes is the best thing that you can offer. It's not always about fixing it or making it go away if you don't have the ability to do it. Sometimes it's only something God can do, or sometimes it takes a number of different things that need to happen in that person's life. But you being there in the thick of it, right? That's what's critically important. And sometimes there's such an emotional disconnect. We look at our spouse and we're like, I don't know what to tell you, and it's just like, wait a minute, I thought we were on the same team. So when I'm down, you should be down to help pull me back up. So speaking life into your partner, sometimes when you don't even have a word to say, sometimes a touch is all it takes. There's power in touch. It communicates. But even beyond physical touch, you have to understand that everything that you do communicates. When you show up, it communicates a message. When you don't show up, it communicates a message. So you have to be wise in understanding what your spouse needs. And if you don't know what they need, ask them, babe, how can I show up for you? How can I present myself in a way that lets you know that I'm here, that I'm with you, that I'm praying? Like, all of those things are essentially important to have a healthy relationship. So it's more than just love, because many people have limited love to just a feeling. And if I don't feel a particular way, then oh well. But no, it's what you do. It is an action. It is a behavior. It is how you express it in a way that your spouse can feel it. All right, let's go to the next one. Number 4, the skill sets that are needed for a healthy relationship. It is the ability to apologize and take responsibility for the way that your actions affect others. It's quite interesting that many of us grow up in households where we've observed different things. Either A, maybe mom and dad never fought, or at least they never fought in front of us. So we never saw what conflict looked like. There was never an opportunity for anyone to apologize about anything in our presence. So I don't even understand this whole apology thing. What does that mean? And how do I do it? And how do I form my lips to actually say I'm sorry when I don't see that I'm sorry? And I think so many people have their own individual personal hangups that keep them from showing up in the right way. And it's so simple and it's so basic. Listen, you offended me, just say you're sorry. But if I say I'm sorry and I don't agree that I offended you, then that's not being authentic and genuine to who I am. And it's just like, this is just bonkers and crazy. There are things that you do that offend your spouse. Apologize. There are things that you do that you did not have the intention of hurting or harming your spouse. You should still apologize. There are things that you're completely oblivious to, and you had no clue that you hurt or harm your spouse. Apologize anyway. You have to understand, a person's perception is their reality. And so their perception may be different than yours, but it doesn't mean because you perceive different that you don't know, or you don't need to apologize to help that other person feel the way they need to feel. And so this is why you have to remove ego. You have to remove pride. You have to let the walls down. You've got to get out of placing yourself on the throne of your life and your relationship and realize that there's another person there. There's another party there. And you're going to have different interpretations and different perspectives and all types of things. And you've got to be able to accommodate for that. And so if it requires you acknowledging something that you did, maybe you didn't have any intention to do, but you know what, baby, if this is how it's making you feel, listen, I am sorry. I am so sorry. That wasn't my intention. I certainly didn't want to do that. I'm going to be more conscious and be more aware. And I promise, to be on the forefront of my consciousness when it comes to this particular thing, because I do not want to hurt you the way that you're hurt right now. Listen, when you have a genuine, heartfelt apology, it really does a lot. It really helps to allow your partner to properly heal. But when you don't apologize, or if you have some funky apology that obviously everybody knows is not sincere, you didn't mean it, it could actually make matters worse. It could turn situations around and make things worse. So listen, learn the art, because there's an art and science to everything. There's an art and science to an apology. And it's not justifying your behavior. behavior or explaining away the reason why you did what you did. None of that matters. That's the last thing that your partner wants to hear. In essence, what you're still doing is justifying your behavior. You're still on the side of what you did. And so sometimes you have to put that to the side and learn how to effectively do it in order to move the relationship forward. All right, number 5, I hope this is helping you guys. Number 5, the ability to receive critical feedback without blocking it through defensive tactics such as denial, shifting of blame, playing the victim, or bullying. See, now I know that you think that you're everything. You're the best thing since sliced bread. You're a bag of chips and all of that. But listen, you're not perfect. You have challenges. You have shortcomings. You have idiosyncrasies, inconsistencies, contradictions, faults and flaws. You have all of that, but somehow you become highly offended. How dare you form your lips to critique me about myself? Who are you? And so then what happens is the walls go up. You become defensive. You begin to attack when you feel attacked, and you're not open to anything. And so the reality is you need people in your life who are going to tell you the truth. You need people in your life who are going to show you when you slip, when you fall, when you go off track. Because if you're not being held accountable to someone else, and you should be held accountable to your spouse, but then also there should be a community of support outside of your marriage that you're held accountable to as well. Because they're the ones that are saying, hey, you're wrong, you messed up. I think you should reevaluate. I think you should consider this. Maybe your spouse had a point. If you all you have is a cheerleading squad, and when you complain, girl, I told you, or man, you could do better. Like if that's all you have, you don't have a healthy environment. And this is why we say, whatever friend you have outside of the marriage, they should be a friend of the marriage, not just your personal friend. They shouldn't exclusively just be biased to you, because if they're biased to you, you will continue to get away with bad behavior. And sometimes you need somebody else who's willing to challenge you a little bit, who you are open to, so that you can course correct and do something different. All right, we have a lot of comments. Good God, let me see. Let's get through this. I was totally broken when the love of my life left me. It was so hard for me and I almost gave up. And if not for a friend who directed me to a very good and powerful man called Dr. Abra. Oh, okay. So this is what we're doing. We're promoting other people. That's okay. Well, listen, it's about getting help. And we want you to get help no matter who you get help from. So having friends in your life is critically important. And so this is what we want to do to take the relationship to the next level, being open to what other people are actually saying, because it makes a significant difference in your life. I think we have another comment. Being there is important. Showing up for your spouse. I was in the hospital for 7 days. My husband didn't visit me once. That hurt me in such a deep level. Listen, this is what we're talking about. This is where empathy and compassion come in. Showing up for your spouse. Listen, I remember there was somebody that I met and had only known them for about a week. Their spouse was in the hospital, major situation. And guess what? Barely knowing them, I showed up just to pay a visit. And they were like, oh my God, I can't believe that you came to the hospital to check up on us. Like, we have close friends and family who haven't even called, and you came. Like, it really makes a difference. And as I said, everything communicates. And these are the things that you need to do in order to really develop health in your relationship to take it to the next level. So I hope this is helping. Number 6, the ability to identify what you need or want from others and to communicate that verbally and directly. Now, I'm going to tell you why this is so critically important. This week in working with this particular couple, we find that people fit into certain personality types. And certain personalities, they have needs, they have desires, but they do not articulate what those needs are. And so therefore, because they're not speaking out, articulating, opening up dialogue with their spouse, the need gets unmet. And when that need gets unmet, what happens is people begin to show up either in an aggressive way or passive aggressive way. It's so interesting when dealing with infidelity. I would imagine, and I've done this countless times with couples, my experience tells me working with couples, my research tells me that overwhelmingly, one of the major contributing factors as to why someone was unfaithful is that they didn't feel that they could have an open and honest conversation with their spouse. They didn't feel comfortable sharing with their spouse what's on their heart and what's on their mind. Now, there's no blame here. I'm not saying that the spouse who they couldn't talk to is the problem, possibly, but oftentimes it's the person who refuses to communicate. They bear a lot of that responsibility. And so rather than speaking to issues that they're not happy about, they say nothing. And so what happens is they begin to disconnect from their spouse and emotionally connect with someone else. And now they have somebody else pouring into their lives, and they're pouring into this other person's life when that should have existed in the marriage. And oftentimes the spouse is just like, I didn't know you felt like that. You never told me that you felt like that. We never had that conversation. Why didn't you tell me? And this is what I'm saying. There's certain personality types that won't do it. And they assume that their spouse should just know. They assume that their spouse should just get it. We've been married for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Don't you know? Don't you understand? No, I do not know. And if you don't effectively communicate what's wrong with you, it will always be an issue. It will always be a need that's not being met. And these are the challenges that we have. And so, guys, we need to begin to open up the dialogue. We've got to begin to share our feelings and emotions in a powerful way that allows our spouse to know what is going on. Listen, you're listening to the Couples Academy show. Hope that you're getting something out of this. We want to go to a quick commercial break, so stay tuned and we'll go through those other steps. Be right back.
Hi, we're Wade and Kathleen Griffith from Spokane, Washington, and we've just finished up an intensive here in Atlanta with Couples Academy. We came here at D-Day plus 3 weeks, wondering if there was a way we could salvage our marriage, because I had damaged it severely with my infidelity. And the weekend we spent here was nothing short of miraculous. It opened our eyes to things in our marriage beyond the infidelity that we needed to address and we'd never dealt with. And I think it's sending us home with the tools and the discipline and the structure that we need to continue to work toward restoration of our marriage. I am so grateful that we could come here and that Kathleen was willing to come with me. And it's just been an absolute blessing.
We came here because we were lost. We didn't know how to get out of our circle of accusations and blames and finger pointing, and we needed some professional help. And Couples Academy, I believe, has saved our marriage.
Yeah.
We feel like we've got the tools now to go home and work on our marriage constructively, in a healthy way, in a Christian way. We feel like God has been a part of this from the get-go, from the time we reached out to Couples Academy till we got here. The whole 3 days we were here, God is here.
Yeah.
God hates infidelity and God hates divorce. And I believe Couples Academy is doing God's work. And they've saved a lot of couples. And I believe they've saved our marriage. And I will be indebted to Couples Academy for the rest of my life. Because I really think they've saved us. So thank you.
So as you can see, people's marriages are still being saved and restored, no matter what the challenges may be. you have an opportunity of taking your relationship to the next level just by tuning in and taking notes and getting help and joining a community that can support you, going to an intensive, doing some weekly sessions. That's what this is all about. That's why you're tuning in, because you want something better, you want something more, you want something different, and you can have all of that within your relationship if you're willing to put in the work. All right, a couple more things, guys. We're almost done, but this is a powerful one. This is a powerful one. The ability to let go of pain from the past, forgive yourself or others, and to refocus on the present moment. You know, we talk about this all the time. So many people are trapped in the pit of their pain because they are living in their past. They're living in that past hurt, that past offense, and it's so hard to let go. And so sometimes we're robbing ourselves of the present moment because presently things may be well. Presently, our spouse is showing up the right way. Presently, we're really enjoying ourselves. Presently, we have a healthy foundation, but I can't get past what was done. And if I constantly think about it and meditate on it and ruminate in it, not only will it rob me of my present, I begin to anticipate a negative future. And so I think that my future would be no different than my past. And so every single time I get in this head, you have to understand that this mind is a record of the past and a roadmap to the future. Every time you think a thought, you're thinking about a past experience, or you're anticipating and using your imagination to think about something in the future. So what happens is we jump back and forth from past to present, past to future, past to future, past to future. And so oftentimes we're not getting out of our mind to pay full attention to the present moment, because in this present moment, it is much better than where we were. And so if we're going to have a healthy future, we got to focus on what things are like now, going through the proper healing process. And one of those areas to become whole and healthy is to really begin to heal your mind, to retrain your brain, that every time a negative thought comes up, you got to cast it down. You can't allow yourself to get soaked and saturated in past hurts and pains, because you begin to re-experience the pain all over again as if it just happened. And so it gets to the point where you're constantly thinking about it so much, you no longer have to think about the thought to feel that negative experience, because you're training your body to operate in that pain. And so now not only are you consciously thinking about it, it's deeply embedded in your subconscious mind. And now you're walking around with a low vibrational frequency of hurt and pain. And now you become like a magnet, and you draw other situations and circumstances into your life that reinforce the pain that you're currently experiencing. And so that's why healing is important. That is why you need to go through a process where you become whole and complete within yourself, because when you become a better you, everything changes. That's why we say that the key to your marital success is found in your personal transformation. You want marital restoration, you need personal transformation in order to get there. And when those things begin to happen, things change in your life. Kiana says, just when I thought I was moving forward, a trigger comes up and I try my best to get over it. Is it a good thing to tell your spouse about the trigger? Absolutely. You don't want to suffer in silence all by yourself. And a lot of times we don't share triggers because we're trying to protect our partner. We're trying to, keep them from feeling some type of way. And we don't want to reinforce their guilt and their shame that they have every time a thought about what they did comes up. But no, not only do we have our role to play in overcoming the trigger, but our spouse also assists us in helping us heal. One of their main roles and priorities in the marriage is to help us heal and to show up in the proper way. So no, have the conversations. I think that's a part of the problem. We just don't talk enough. And because we don't talk enough, what happens, it creates the emotional disconnect. So guys, I hope this was helpful today. I hope it gave you something that you needed to get you through not only the day, but the week. Listen, tune in tomorrow for another great conversation. But in the meantime, if you want to reach out to us, you know how to do it. Just text us at 678-200-8996 or go to our website, couplesacademy.org, set up a free discovery call. We want to let you know that we're here for you. We love you guys, and we will talk to you on tomorrow. Take care.
Can't bring us down, can't nothing bring us down. Our love is too high, bring us down, can't nothing bring us down. Bring us down, can't nothing bring us